Hi, everyone. I just wanted to share a little bit of what I've been doing recently with data analysis in terms of using ChatGPT to help me better understand my students' test scores and, more importantly, to engage teachers in more meaningful conversations about those test scores. And one of the most common questions I get is, what did you put into ChatGPT to get this information? So I'm going to share with you how I put my LinkIt benchmark data into ChatGPT, and I'm just going to walk you through the chat that I had, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the conversation that I had with my second grade team. So the first thing I did was I went into our data management system, which at our school district we use LinkIt, and I pulled the information for the second grade benchmark assessment. And basically, I just exported it into a CSV file, and I had taken that CSV file and deleted all identifying information about the students. So I took out the student names and I just replaced it with numbers. So that's the first thing. Make sure you don't put any private data into ChatGPT. From there, I went to a customized chatbot that I had created, but really you could just use regular ChatGPT. I have the premium version, and I created my own customized chatbot called the Ridge Ranch Writing Wrangler because we've been working on writing development at my school. So in creating that chatbot, I uploaded some of the NJSLA rubrics. I gave it the task of being a writing expert. And maybe in another video, I'll actually show you the prompt I created to make this customized chatbot. But nonetheless, I started with giving my chatbot a role. You are an experienced elementary school educator with expertise in data analysis. I find that these persona prompts are really helpful, telling the large language model the role you want it to assume is really helpful. So I started with you're an experienced elementary school educator with expertise in data analysis and preparing students to meet with success on the NJSLA. And then I'm pacing the input here. I let it know that it was going to receive LinkIt benchmark assessment data for our second graders, and I wanted it to give an overall assessment of the students' strengths and weaknesses, along with actionable feedback to help the students be prepared to pass NJSLA in third grade. And then I said, let me know when you're ready for the data. I find that giving the data in chunks is very helpful. And I like to say, let me know when you're ready for the next piece, because believe it or not, sometimes it will actually ask me a clarifying question. And then that helps with the quality of and the specificity of the output. So ChatGPT responded, I'm ready for the data. Please upload or share the LinkIt benchmark assessment results, and I'll analyze for student strengths and weaknesses, and then I'll provide actionable feedback and instructional strategies to help prepare them for success on the NJSLA in third grade. Well, I thought, well, great, that sounds exactly like what I'm looking for. So I went to upload or attach my CSV file, and it didn't work. I will tell you, I have had difficulty with ChatGPT uploading data files like Excel files or CSV files. In this case, I was able to just copy and paste it in when the first couple of uploads failed, but sometimes that doesn't even work. If you run into that situation, I would suggest going to another large language model platform like Perplexity. Perplexity seems to do better with data files, but the file wasn't huge. I just dumped it in. It looks, you could see it's long. It looks a little bit crazy, but the AI was able to interpret it. So I'm just going to scroll down. You could see how long it was. I put in a lot of a large CSV file. And it said, thanks for sharing the data. I'll analyze the strengths and weaknesses of the second grade students. And then it provided its analysis. So you can see here, it gave me an analysis of the LinkIt benchmark data for grade 2. It was an ELA test. It told me an overall performance summary, some strengths, some of the areas of weakness, some actionable recommendations. And then it just said generally, by focusing on the target areas, students will be better prepared to meet the literacy demands of third grade and perform better on NJSLA, which is what we're hoping will happen. But that's kind of general. So I asked it to tell me which students that it was most concerned about and why. And so that was the follow up prompt. And this is the information that I shared with the teachers in our second grade level meeting. I will tell you, my second grade team is excellent. They are experienced teachers, they're thoughtful practitioners. And so I was excited to share this with them because I couldn't wait to hear what questions and what thoughts they had, and also to see if they felt the assessment that the AI was providing was in line with what they saw in the classroom. So it outlined for me some of the most concerning students. Here it says student number 21. This student had one of the lowest overall scores, had significant struggles in foundational literacy skills, and it listed student by student. It explained why these students are a concern. So as you can imagine, when I sat with the second grade teachers, they all wanted to know, who's student 21? Is that my student? I bet that one's mine. No, that one, I know who that one is. And so we had some lively discussion about that, really looking at, yep, that's exactly what I'm seeing with that student. Or, oh, I hadn't noticed that about that student. Let me look a little more closely at that. So I did ask it for a more specific detailed breakdown. I said, let's talk more about students 21, 53, 45, and 56. Please organize them into groups. In terms of areas needing instruction. So what I was getting at here is, what should we teach these kids next? Like, what's the priority instructional standard or skill that we should be focusing on to help the students close that gap? And so the response was based on their performance data. We got some groupings, put students 21 and 53 together, and you can target some phonics instruction, some comprehension instruction. So I thought this was helpful to put the kids together in terms of, strategy groups. So that was really helpful. And then they gave some, just further information about skill areas that needed work. And here's what I really liked. It created an intervention plan by small groups, and it visualized it for us in chart form. So putting students together into different groups, here you go. You're all set to do your strategy group instruction. So then it prompted me, would you like sample lesson plans or intervention schedules? So I really wasn't interested in that at this time. So I asked it if we could look at the next group. And I just put, can we look at the next group? I'm shocked that it actually understood what I meant, but it did. First, I was looking at that lowest tier of students, the one we were most concerned about. And here I wanted to focus on kids on the bubble. And it actually knew what I meant. I could have given a little more specific prompt here. But I put, can we look at the next group? Yes, let's look at the next group of students who may need targeted instruction. Would you like me to analyze scores of students between 50 and 70% overall, or do you want to focus on specific skills? And that's what I was looking for, kids on the bubble. So yes, I responded yes, 50 to 70 with specific scores and any other thoughts that you might have that might be helpful to their teachers. And then I also put, I noticed that student 56 has been mentioned in both groups. Let's look at this student more closely. So it did a deep dive into student number 56 for me. It created an intervention plan, some key recommendations, and then it went on to do a deeper dive into some students who then were on the bubble. So this was really helpful. The teachers then were able to pull up student number 11 and take a look and see, does this match what we're seeing in the classroom? And I have to tell you, I 100% trust my teacher's judgment. Like I said, they're experienced, they're thoughtful, they do a lot of formative assessment, and they actually concurred that, what ChatGPT was reflecting was actually what was happening in the unit. And here is something interesting. Then the teacher said, I'm noticing some patterns, areas of weakness that were coming up for all of the students. And she suggested that we input our curriculum and ask ChatGPT to, I guess, compare the students' areas of weakness to see if there were any holes in the curriculum. Now, if you've ever worked on curriculum, you know that this is typically summer work, but what's to say that it has to wait for the summer? Or maybe if we're noticing these patterns in our data, this is information that we could share with the curriculum committees that work over the summer. So we put in just one unit on character study, and we said, this is our unit on character study. Read it and let me know when you're ready to discuss how well it correlates to the areas being assessed. So after we did that, we realized it shouldn't have just been one unit. It should have been the entire curriculum, because LinkIt Benchmark assessments are assessing instructional standards across the year. So this one unit obviously is only one little piece of our curriculum. But it was really just the process here that I wanted to unpack. We could have put in our whole curriculum, and indeed we intend to do that. So it said, go ahead and share your character study unit, and I'll review it to determine how well it aligns. So obviously it came up with a lot of holes because it's just one small piece of our curriculum, but I wanted to share it because I thought it was a brilliant idea. We had really robust discussion during our grade level meetings. It's hard to talk about data, and ChatGPT just gave us a starting point, and I think the teachers found it useful. I always learn when I'm talking to my teachers, so I'm sharing that with you. I hope you find it useful. Good luck.